Have you ever wondered why data protection is essential for both individuals and businesses? In our data-driven world, where every click, every purchase, every interaction is tracked and stored, protecting this information is more important than ever. Let's start by understanding what we mean by sensitive data. It's the kind of information that, if it fell into the wrong hands, could cause serious harm. Think about personal details like your social security number, financial information like your bank account details, or health records with your medical history. For businesses, it could be proprietary research, customer databases, or financial reports. Why is it so crucial to protect this data? Well, for starters, a data breach could spell disaster. For individuals, it could mean identity theft, financial loss, or even personal safety risks. For businesses, the potential damage is enormous. Loss of customer trust, legal penalties, and severe financial losses. It's estimated that the average cost of a data breach is nearly $4 million. Aside from the financial implications, there's also a moral and legal obligation to protect sensitive data. We live in an era where privacy is valued and respected. When you entrust your data to a company, whether it's your email provider or your favorite online store, you expect them to safeguard that information. And legally, they're bound to do so. Numerous regulations and laws around the world mandate the protection of sensitive data. But it's not just about preventing data breaches. Data protection is also about enabling the responsible use of data. It's about ensuring that data is used in a way that respects individual rights and freedoms, and that it's used for the purpose it was intended. So, data protection is not a mere compliance exercise or a box to be ticked. It's a fundamental aspect of how we interact with the digital world. It's about trust, responsibility, and respect for individual privacy. As you can see, data protection is not just a buzzword. It's a necessity that cannot be overlooked. Now that we understand what sensitive data is, let's delve into the different types of sensitive data. Firstly, we have personal information. This is data that directly identifies an individual. It could be anything from your name, email address, to your social security number. These pieces of information can be used maliciously if they fall into the wrong hands, hence their classification as sensitive data. Next up, we have financial data. This is a broad category that includes credit card numbers, bank account details, and other financial information. If exposed, this data can lead to financial fraud or identity theft. Therefore, it's crucial to keep this data safe and secure. Thirdly, we have health records. These are detailed reports of an individual's medical history. Health records are highly sensitive as they contain private and intimate details about a person's physical and mental health. Unauthorized access to such information can lead to serious violations of privacy. Another type of sensitive data is intellectual property. This refers to creations of the mind, such as inventions, literary and artistic works, designs, and proprietary business information. Theft or misappropriation of intellectual property can cause significant financial and reputational damage to individuals and businesses alike. Lastly, we have confidential business data. This includes information that is proprietary to a company, like trade secrets, business strategies, and internal communications. A breach in this type of data can give competitors an unfair advantage and cause significant harm to the business. Understanding these types of sensitive data is the first step towards effective data protection. In the next scenes, we will explore the regulatory requirements for protecting sensitive data, methods for identifying and inventorying this data, and strategies for safeguarding it. So stay tuned as we continue our journey into the complex world of data protection. So, we know what sensitive data is and its types. But what are the rules governing its protection? To answer this, let's delve into the world of regulatory requirements and compliance standards. These regulations are not just a bunch of legal jargon. They are the cornerstone of data protection. First, let's talk about the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR. Originating from the European Union, it has become a global standard for data protection. It governs how an organization should handle personal data, with strict rules on consent, data breaches, and data subjects' rights. Then we have the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, more commonly known as HIPAA. This American law protects health information, ensuring that healthcare providers, insurers, and other related entities handle such data with utmost care and confidentiality. Next, let's talk about the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, or PCI DSS. If you handle card payments, you need to be aware of this. It outlines security measures to prevent credit card fraud and protect cardholder data. And let's not forget the California Consumer Privacy Act, or CCPA. This law gives California residents more control over their personal information, including the right to know what data is collected, the right to delete personal information held by businesses, and the right to opt out of the sale of personal information. Non-compliance with these regulations can lead to severe consequences. We're not just talking about hefty fines that can run into millions of dollars, but also the damage to a company's reputation. Imagine the trust you'd lose from your customers, partners, and stakeholders if you mishandled their sensitive data. It's a nightmare scenario that no organization wants to face. Regulations may vary depending on your location and industry, but the common thread is clear. Sensitive data must be protected. And to do that, you need a robust data protection strategy that aligns with these regulations. Compliance with these regulations isn't just about avoiding fines. It's about maintaining trust and integrity in your operations. So let's keep the conversation going and explore how to identify and inventory this sensitive data. It's clear that protecting sensitive data is important, but how do we identify and keep track of it? Well, it starts with understanding the concept of data classification. This is the process of organizing data by categories so that it can be used and protected more efficiently. Think of it like organizing a library. Books are sorted based on their genres, authors, and other characteristics. Similarly, data is categorized based on its sensitivity level and the need for protection. This process aids in understanding what data you have, where it resides, and how it should be handled. Next, we delve into the methods of identifying sensitive data. You can use data discovery tools, which are like the detectives of the data world. They scour through your databases, files, and applications to find and classify sensitive data. There are also data mapping exercises, which involve creating a visual representation of how data flows within your organization. This helps to identify where sensitive data resides and how it's being used. Manual review processes can also be useful, though they can be time-consuming and prone to human error. However, identifying sensitive data isn't without its challenges. Data proliferation, or the rapid and often unchecked expansion of data, is one such challenge. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but the haystack keeps growing. Data residency issues, or concerns about where data is stored, especially in a multinational context, can also complicate matters. That's where a data inventory comes in handy. A comprehensive data inventory catalogs all sensitive data assets within the organization. It's like having a roadmap of your data landscape. Maintaining a data inventory involves regular audits to ensure that all sensitive data is accounted for and properly classified. It also requires documentation practices that record data's sources, uses, and storage locations. Data inventories are crucial because they provide visibility into your data assets. They help to avoid data sprawl, increase operational efficiency, and support compliance efforts. In essence, they provide a strong foundation for data protection. Identifying and cataloging sensitive data is a crucial step in ensuring its protection. It's a complex task, no doubt, but with the right strategies and tools, it's entirely achievable. We've identified our sensitive data. Now, how do we protect it? Protection begins with implementing robust data loss prevention solutions. DLP solutions are like the vigilant guards of our digital fortress. They continually scan and monitor data in motion, at rest, and in use. Through content inspection and policy enforcement, these solutions can detect potential data breaches and violations, enabling swift incident response. They are the first line of defense in our data protection strategy. However, even the best DLP solution cannot guarantee absolute protection. That's where encryption and anonymization techniques come into play. Picture your sensitive data as a priceless artifact. Encryption is like a high-tech security box that keeps your artifact safe, while anonymization is like an invisibility cloak that makes it unrecognizable to prying eyes. By encrypting data at rest, in transit, and in use, we ensure that even if data falls into the wrong hands, it remains undecipherable. Anonymization, on the other hand, removes or masks identifying details, making the data useless to unauthorized users. But technology alone isn't enough. People are the gatekeepers of data and often the weakest link in data protection. That's why employee training and awareness are crucial. It's like teaching everyone in the castle how to spot suspicious activity and what to do when they see it. Regular training sessions can equip employees with the knowledge to recognize and respond to potential threats. Awareness programs can foster a culture of data protection, turning each employee into a dedicated guardian of sensitive data. Remember, data protection isn't a one-and-done deal. It's an ongoing process that requires vigilance, diligence, and continuous improvement. Just as a castle's defenses are regularly updated and tested, so too should our data protection strategies be constantly evaluated and enhanced. Protection is a multifaceted approach, and each aspect plays a crucial role in safeguarding sensitive data. Whether it's the vigilant DLP solutions, the protective shield of encryption, the cloaking power of anonymization, or the human element of employee training, each piece complements the others, and together they form an impregnable defense for our sensitive data. We've talked about how to protect sensitive data, but what guidelines should we follow in handling it? To ensure the safeguarding of sensitive data, it's essential to establish clear and comprehensive data handling policies. These policies serve as a roadmap, guiding an organization on how to manage sensitive data throughout its life cycle. Data handling policies are more than just rules and regulations. They embody an organization's commitment to protecting the privacy and security of its data assets. These policies should cover all aspects of data management, from collection and storage to usage and disposal. Let's start with data access controls. These are mechanisms that regulate who can access sensitive data and under what circumstances. This can include password protection, two-factor authentication, and role-based access controls. The goal is to ensure that only authorized individuals can access sensitive data, thereby minimizing the risk of unauthorized access or data breaches. Next, we have data retention guidelines. These policies determine how long sensitive data should be stored. The key is to retain data only for as long as necessary. Once the data has served its purpose, it should be securely deleted or archived. This reduces the volume of data that could potentially be compromised in the event of a security incident. Lastly, we have data disposal procedures. These are methods for securely discarding or deleting sensitive data once it's no longer needed. This can involve secure deletion techniques, physical destruction of storage media, or professional data disposal services. It's crucial to ensure that discarded data cannot be recovered or reconstructed. In a nutshell, data handling policies are a crucial component of a robust data protection framework. They provide a systematic approach to managing sensitive data, reducing the likelihood of security incidents, and ensuring compliance with regulatory requirements. So there you have it, folks. Whether you're an IT professional or just somebody who's interested in data privacy, remember this: good data handling policies are the backbone of any robust data protection strategy. Let's take a look at some real-world examples of what can happen when sensitive data isn't properly protected. In the first case, let's consider a global financial institution that was hit with a hefty fine of several $1 million. The reason? They failed to secure customer data, resulting in a breach that exposed the personal information of hundreds of thousands of customers. The root cause? A lack of proper data classification and inadequate data protection measures. This case underscores the importance of identifying and securing sensitive data to avoid financial penalties and reputational damage. Next, let's talk about a healthcare provider that suffered a data breach, exposing the medical records of millions of patients. Despite having data protection measures in place, the breach occurred because of a lack of employee awareness and training regarding data security. This case highlights the critical role of employee training and awareness in safeguarding sensitive data. Finally, consider a technology company that experienced a data breach, compromising their intellectual property. The breach was traced back to poor data handling policies and procedures. The company did not have stringent data access controls, and sensitive data was not properly disposed of. This incident emphasizes the importance of having robust data handling policies and procedures. These cases serve as stark reminders of the consequences of failing to identify and protect sensitive data. They demonstrate that data protection is not just about technology and tools, but also about processes, policies, and people. To wrap things up, let's revisit the key points we've discussed. We started by defining sensitive data and its importance in data protection. We explored different types of sensitive data, from personal information to intellectual property. We looked at regulatory requirements and the implications of non-compliance. We delved into the concept of data classification and its role in identifying sensitive data. We highlighted the importance of maintaining a comprehensive data inventory and discussed strategies for creating and maintaining one. We introduced data loss prevention solutions and their role in protecting sensitive data. We emphasized the importance of employee training and awareness, and discussed encryption and anonymization techniques for protecting sensitive data. Finally, we examined the role of data handling policies and procedures in managing sensitive data throughout its life cycle. Remember, identifying and protecting sensitive data is not just a regulatory requirement. It's a critical business practice that can save you from significant financial and reputational damage. The importance of this cannot be overstated. By implementing robust data protection measures, you're not just ticking a regulatory box, but you're also safeguarding your organization's most valuable assets and preserving the trust of your customers, employees, and stakeholders.